And perhaps you've heard about the difference between top management commitment and involvement. Top management not only need to be committed, not only being involved, but really have to be committed. And you may have heard about the difference between commitment and involvement. Like if you have for breakfast ham and eggs this morning, chicken is involved, but pig is committed. So if top management is really committed, naturally top management feels the pains. If not the blood coming out, at least top management really share the pains and make it happen. And that's the difference. And you receive a very high mark on our new evaluation system. So within the given amount of time, I normally need at least 2 hours, couple of hours to go on, because I wanted to talk about Kaizen, Lean, and then Green. If you develop a Kaizen, it becomes the basis of introducing Lean, and because Lean by definition, means to employ the minimum resources for the maximum output. Therefore, naturally, Lean naturally leads to Green. So Kaizen, Lean, Green. That will make a good three-part activities. So first, Kaizen. Kaizen is commonly referred to as continual improvement. But I'm not too happy anymore with that kind of definition, because it doesn't carry this tremendous commitment the word carries with it. So I have a different definition. I would say first, Kaizen is everyday improvement. Everyday improvement. Yesterday, I was giving my talk to a group of managers like you today. And I asked them, how many of your companies have you been introducing 5S? Then about a dozen people raised their hands. Then I asked them, how many of you are doing it every day? None of them raised their hands. You see, when we realize that Kaizen is everyday improvement, it requires a tremendous mindset, determination. It's not easy, as you know. It's not so easy to keep on doing it. That's the true Kaizen, to keep on doing it, such things as 5S. And if you keep on doing it every day, it also means that it's a long-term project. It's not the flavor of the month. It's not something that should be continued during the current president's stay in the company. The president may go out after a few years, but it has to go on and on and on. And this is one of the reasons why most companies have failed introducing Lean, because they couldn't regard it as a long-term event. Why do you think GM went bankrupt 2 years ago? GM had every opportunity to learn about Toyota Way. And yet, they didn't, take on any such learning, because top management, ever since the days of Roger Smith, have failed to set up this top management target goal to learn from Toyota's approach. They sent many of their managers to the NUMMI, in Fremont, California, the joint venture. Many of them also were even sent to the Toyota's plant and learned about Toyota Way. when they came back and came back to their original plant, they had very little chance to exercise what they wanted to learn. Very soon dissatisfied, and left the Gemba. And ironically, some of them wrote books about Kaizen, a total way, and some of them became consultants, starting teaching total way, but not GM, but other companies. I know that because several of them joined Kaizen Institute. And it all happened because they have failed to embrace the lean approach. Then it is everybody improvement. The most important is top management. As I said, without top management, nothing else is done. And yet, in many cases, it is in many companies, it is somebody in the middle management who said, "Oh, I've heard that this is wonderful. Let's start doing it." And it may be successful partially within such a person's own jurisdiction, but it never becomes a company-wide activities. And thirdly, it is everywhere improvement. It should include every functions. And again, I was very pleased to note that it is being extended not only on the shop floors, but to all other the administrative functions and also the financial functions. Well, when we think of productivity, the Lean's approach or Toyota's approach has traditionally been, the productivity of the people. And as a typical Western approach, which I call traditional approach, has been productivity coming out of the machines. The traditional system, placed much more emphasis in producing, the many pieces of products, items, like a machine gun out of the fast-moving machines, so that the cost of each unit will be minimized. So there are major concerns. Whenever the productivity improvement is mentioned, the central issue is machine productivity. Whereas in the Lean approach, it is the people productivity. When you purchase the machine, you have already made your decision and you paid for it. So there's no use to utilize the machine all the time, regardless of the actual need. But as for the people, you are paying for 8 hours a day every time they were in Gemba. And while you are there, the time machine is ticking. So you should make every effort to utilize people's availability and people's the available time. And there's this much of effort in making best use of the people's availability. That's a big difference.